Okay, Tammy, take me home. We're preparing for a wedding, a long day. Okay, here we go. Vianne, first time breeder here. My pups are thriving and so healthy thanks to all your advice. Well, great, good. I hope we gave you good advice. Apparently we did. A lot of comments here on Mando, our new little stud dog who's not ready yet. So
it's beautiful.
Yep.
Small, short, cobby.
Yep.
Good bone, good ear set.
Question about the progesterone machine. I have a fine care and I have my female at 2.11 on the vet's machine and 0.3 on the fine care. Is this normal? Nah, it's really something that's a little bit where you wonder what's going on. Retest on the fine care, see if you bleed the number, because you know there's all kinds of reasons why you can get things wrong, right? I mean, you can have somebody did the test wrong, somebody reported the numbers wrong, but I would just redo it. Where can I get a Fluffy? So we are going to have a litter of Fluffy carriers born June the 8th.
June 8th, Fluffy
Just
carriers
next week.
from Love My Buble and Paris.
Yes.
And then I also have a little girl that is a blue and tan, carries Testable, carries Coco. She's a new shade maker. Her daddy is Goldfinger, which is our new shade that is out of Little Essay and Homey. And she is nice bone, short, cobby, flat face little girl. She's beautiful, and so she is for sale. Also, Cody's got a new litter of lilac and tans carrying Testable and Coco and Cream. So give him a call. My phone number is 580-799-1910. Cody's phone number is 806-664-0173 for his babies.
Someone's asking about what's the DNA of a Euro Hero. I'm still not clear on this. We've got a Euro Hero, and we produce a litter of Euro Heroes, and I do have some DNA from those dogs. So you know, I don't. Can you put your? No, you already got your blind down there. Thanks. I was going to say you're blind because the sun's there, but you got it down. Yeah, that's right.
Put it down as far as I can.
Desi Melkor, what should I give to my puppies that started having boogers coming out of the noses? They are 1 week old, please. What do you think about that one, Tammy?
Well, be sure you keep those boogers cleaned out of those little noses because it'll stop up and they can't breathe.
Use a suction device to pull them out with. So typically if I hear about boogers, I do get worried about milk inhalation that's developed into pneumonia, and that needs to be treated with Clavamox. So keep an eye on this because you really can get in trouble with this in a hurry. If you've got dogs that are having some problems and you're not sure, then I would go to the vet because it may be time to get some Clavamox. And look, you're not going to get Clavamox over the counter. You have to go to a vet for that.
If you see them opening their mouths trying to breathe, then they're plugged up. They cannot breathe when they've got crusty noses from milk.
Von Paul Lim, does all this info apply to English Bulldogs? Yes, it does. Le Francais bred. My female is about 35 days pregnant. She had a semi-dark gooey discharge today. Took her immediately to the vet, had an examination, ultrasound, complete blood count test. Everything came back fine, and the levels, and they heard heartbeats. Plus, they said maybe stress, but wondering if you've all heard of this before. Any idea what this could be the cause of this besides stress or stress? Only difference is the last days is Memorial Weekend. We have the other dogs at the house, but kept them away from her. Thanks for the help. Well, look, I mean, it's not uncommon to see a discharge from a dog partway into the pregnancy, and you know, you never like to see that. But for the most part, unless it's a green discharge or there's a lot of it, normally it's nothing of too significance. What I recommend is always this. Number one, what am I going to tell them to do, Tammy?
I don't know.
Take their temperature.
Yes.
You've got an elevated temperature, 102 or higher, go to the vet because something's up. So, you know, that one needs to be addressed immediately. The second one would be, you know, a green discharge, you worry about a placental separation. Look, here's the deal. What are you going to do about this? And the answer is, you're not doing surgery on a dog unless you plan on spaying a dog. And the reasons you might spay a dog would be that it has pyometria and you can't clear it up with antibiotics. So that's the thing that is of concern here. Whenever you see a discharge, have we got pyometria going on? That's why you take the temperature. So elevated temperature, 102 or more, go to the vet for certain, get some antibiotics on board. And then, you know, if you have what's called a closed pyometria, where it doesn't show up as a discharge, but the dog's acting not well with an elevated temperature, then that's even more of a concern. And the kind of thing you do then is an ultrasound to see whether you've got a lot of, or an x-ray to see if you've got a lot of pus inside the uterus. But generally, my advice would be this: if you see a bit of a discharge, put the dog on bed rest for 48 hours. Don't let the dog jump around. It's probably just a little tear. It'll probably heal itself up, probably be fine. So, yeah. Lisa Noah Cow, if AKC accept fawn dobbies or dobies, why don't they accept other dogs that are fawn? It makes no sense.
Tell me about it.
Well, I mean,
They do, don't they?
I would say a couple of things about this. And somebody made a response here that I think is right. It said, it takes quite a while for AKC to change and accept new colours and breeds. That's exactly right. The AKC moves like molasses, right? They don't make sudden changes to things, and that's fine. And I mean, that's probably not a bad thing for them to do. They wait until they see a big following for a particular new colour before they get remotely interested. And the next thing they do is maybe then the next thing would be is that dog then goes into the I've got a huge glare here. I'll put my hand right up there. Sun's coming in. It's getting the end of the day. Oh, there it is. Let's put that. There we go. Put my hand up there. Ow. And the other thing is look, it's their rules, it's their game, it's their rules, it's their club, and they do what the hell they want, and you either like it or not. If you don't like what they're doing, then write a letter, but probably not going to get much response from that. Even better, if you've got a number of people in a club and they want something done, then get a petition together and petition them as to what your arguments is as to why they should change what their rules are. But
Am I helping you?
yes, wonderful, thank you.
Bounty.
Yeah,
Could
that's
we
good.
use
Yes.
time for a Bounty commercial?
Bouncy, the best. No. Hey, by the way, none of these videos, by the way, we're not endorsing. We don't get any endorsement feedback from anybody in any of our videos. So that's one of the things that I think is pretty important, because we're not promoting. Well, I'm going to back that up here in a second. We don't promote products because we are getting paid for them. We promote products because we believe that they work really well, that maybe you should try them in your program.
Especially our products. That
We do
sell
promote our own products.
on www.mybreedersupply.com.
Right, so that's a bit different there, because we do have vested interest. But look, honestly, the reason we have those products there that we've either developed or we sell is because we use them on a day-to-day basis. And if we don't like them, we don't sell them. Can you talk about the new AKC requirements for registration of a litter? They are now asking for information about who did the AI. And we now have to register litters via mail versus online? There's not been any change to this. It's always been this way. If you do an AI, it's a written form. If you do an artificial insemination, that they want you to use for this. There are ways of circumventing that, and I'm not going to discuss this here because they're not really, exactly kosher according to AKC. But the simple answer is what you're supposed to do is have a written form that you send in that explains who did the AI. Right? Now, what I'm going to say is this: how heck would they know whether a dog's been produced from an AI versus a natural tie? They don't. So the whole thing's moot in my book. But there is another point to all of this, and that is the point of this is they want to make sure that a dog parentage is correct, and it doesn't make any difference whether this dog has been bred naturally, where you've done an AI. In my book, it makes no difference. You need to know who bred your dog, and if you're unclear of this, and that can happen because, for instance, I had one the other day. I'll give you this example. Here's a little story for you. It's kind of interesting. I had someone the other day, and they were really concerned because their dog was getting along quite a bit quicker than what they thought it should be. And they went and had a bit, and there were the signs that whelp was imminent. So they had a discussion with me about this, and I said, well, look, she's got all the signs that she should be 7 days away, based on when you do the AI. But everything you're telling me makes me believe that she's going to have puppies for the next 24 hours. And if that's the case, then you could really have a problem on your hands, because puppies that are born prematurely 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days early typically have a really hard time, or if it's that far in advance, like 7 days, they just don't survive. So you can go to your vet and do some things, but one of the things you can do is you can give Regumate. And hold off the whelp for a few days. So they went to the vet and they discussed this, and they did actually give some Regimate, and it did hold off the whelp for a couple of days, I believe. Then they had a litter, and guess what? What do you think? You want to have a guess, Tammy, as to what happened? They had a successful litter of puppies, born looking completely okay. The first sign of puppies that are premature is they have sleek faces. They have no hair on their faces, leathery looking faces, bulging eyes, and they kind of look like birds. And that's a sure sign that you've messed up or you got yourself in a tight spot. None of that. These puppies, the comment was, the puppies look fully cooked, they look great. Well, in looking at what the puppies produced, they produced some pied dogs from a mother that carries pied and a stud that has no pied at all. Not possible. But they have another Frenchie on their property who is a pied. Bingo. Wrong dog. Bred. And so now they've got this situation where they paid for a stud service that apparently didn't take because they did it too late. And now they want to know what they should do. And the answer is you're going to have to go do DNA parentage through the AKC. It's about $50 a puppy. And DNA parentage on both the studs to find out exactly who produced what. You can do a dual registration. Yeah. So there's an example of how things can how things can get messed up and get you in a spot that you can get out of. But anyway, I'm not sure why I told you that, but I did. Once the dew claws are removed, is there any aftercare required? And I'm going to add this to another one that says, what kind of a tool should we be using? Can we use nail clippers? So the first thing is, do not use nail clippers. If you do, there will be some aftercare required. You'll probably have to put a stitch in it. So what we use is a pair of what's called mosquito forceps, really small forceps with a curved blade. And basically what you're doing is you're clamping those on deep enough down towards the base of the thumb that the thumb pops up, and then you wipe that off with your fingers over the blades of the forceps. And it works great, and there's nothing you have to do. There's no bleeding. If there is, it's just a tiny little spot that just almost immediately disappears. The puppies don't appear to be any distress.
The only time they're in distress is from you holding them.
Holding them down, right?
Holding them down.
Yeah, you hold them down. They don't like it. You've got them. You've got to get a good grip on them so you can get this paw in the right place. So you've got to be pretty firm on them, and that's when they scream. They don't like that. The actual clamping part, they don't seem to care about it at all. It's amazing, but get it done certainly, or preferably between 3 and 5 days old, and certainly not after 7 days old. You can't do this at 10 days and 14 days. After that, you're going to have to wait if you want to do this until the dogs are 6 months or older, and they're going to have to intubate the dog, give it anesthesia, and go through an operation that's no fun. So if you decide you're going to do this, do it early, don't do it late, and then there's no aftercare required at all. Right, there's 30 minutes. Enough of that one. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate people who subscribe to me. It helps me, encourage me to do more of these videos. But do remember, disclaimer here, I am not a vet. I'm not a licensed medical professional. I'm purely a person who's been breeding dogs for the last couple of decades. Any information that you got from this video, use at your own risk. There's nothing implied here, and certainly this should not be used as a substitute for advice from your veterinarian or your medical professional. I hope you enjoyed the video. Come back for more of them. Bye.